one of the co-hosts is here at the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. So nice to have y'all back with us, and we have one of my buddies and co-hosts, Miss D.
Hey guys, good to be here.
Yeah.
And Avery.
I'm here. I'm doing
You're
it.
here?
I'm
Sure,
struggling through. My antibiotics are kicking in.
Oh, you're
right
under the
now.
weather?
A little bit.
Feel better.
Didn't you just come from a date? How can you like?
That's exactly why.
So
like,
Burn.
3 Advil after that one.
Yeah.
You know what? Advils are good to pack on a date, but we have a different topic for you than Advil. We're here to discuss today two-timing. Two-timing. What the heck is that, IJ? Two-timing is otherwise known as can you date more than one person at a time? And it is such a good topic. No? Can I get some oohs and ahs?
Ooh,
Avery?
It's not going to happen. I promise you.
You know, dating more than two people at a time. Before everyone out there goes, oh my God, I can't believe he's pro. Or I'm not. We're here to just talk it out. We want, this is a guys and a girls kind of discussion here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to talk about with it. And maybe we could get everyone's quick opinion first, and then we can go into some scenarios.
Okay.
Personally, right? Obviously, if you're in a deep committed relationship, I'm not telling you, and I don't think anyone here is telling you, like, oh, yeah, go give it a first date with someone else once you're, 6 months in.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we're advocating right now.
You may want it, though.
But as many of you know, in Shidduchim, this happens where you can give a few yeses out, and by the time you get it back, you're stuck in a bubble. Like, you have to make a decision. Okay, one guy, do I go out? Who do I go out with first? How could I, set this up? They're both named Razy. What do I do, right?
Yeah.
And on the girls' side, similar situations could happen, right? It could be a few weeks or if not months or Misty was a year. No.
Funny.
No, I'm kidding, guys.
Let's get a smack for that one in the episode.
Yeah, could you?
Avery,
Can you smack us?
Smack him for that.
For you, forget it.
It's been an eternity.
It's been a while actually. You need to go on another date. But it could be such a long time where it's not easy. Like you want, why not? Like, why would you lose? Why would you lose out?
So mass
to a good
produce
guy?
Your yeses. That's the idea. Like, give out to many people. Like
No, I say no. You
Okay.
don't
don't
date
think
two
it's
people.
right.
No, I find it disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, you have to focus on one person. You can't I don't care if it's even the first date. I find that
okay,
rude.
but Misty, for a girl who gives
rude.
out for a guy, and it's different. A guy.
Okay, let's hear it.
I agree with you. For a guy should
Okay.
not give out more than one yes at a time. I'll tell you why.
Wow,
Why
we
would you
disagree?
want?
Wow.
Why would you want to go out with multiple girls? Can you imagine every night of the week having this girl's like, oh, you're late for this date. Oh, you're late for this date. Oh, every single night. Be terrible. Terrible.
So come on time.
That's one reason.
These guys have to come on time. Stop being late.
You then think of witticisms, what to say when they get in the car, and think of various things to talk about.
See, that's a good
topics.
point. That's why I think some
That's a
people do
killer.
it. I feel like
Killer.
it's insecure. Like, some guys want quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Like, let's see how many girls I can get. Oh, I am so cool.
Also, by the time you give out so many yeses, there's no chance in heck that you're actually vetting every single one of them well. You're just saying
that's
yes just to give out the yes. You're giving
That's
out
what I'm saying.
flippant
You're just
yeses. You need to
Some
be able
people
to
are good
vet it.
analysts, I was an analyst once, and I had some
What did
very
you-
good stock.
What
very
did you
good
analyze?
Shidduch resumes.
You couldn't even be an analyst on MSNBC.
Oh.
Hey, I'm a Fox News guy, but you know what I mean. Look.
Gosh. Anyhow,
Right.
but Misty, for guys, like I was saying before,
Mm-hmm.
for guys, don't do it. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not honest to the women. It's not honest to yourself.
Thank you.
Wow.
For
Wow.
girls, though, it could be a little bit longer till they get a yes, and a little bit, more infrequent to get a yes.
Right.
So if you get multiple guys that say yes, take it and run. Like, go for it, because who knows when you're gonna get another one. Like, it's not.
Wow.
I'm not saying in a bad way, but it's more of
That's so encouraging. Thank you.
But that
Some of us
it
can,
does
okay?
happen.
So, whoa.
No, I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying it more of
No, but
it's the nature. There's a reason that people go crazy aside from
Right.
monetization of the shidduch crisis.
Yeah.
Is that
like
this
we're
is-
doing with the podcast.
we haven't even. But this is the first time we're bringing up the crisis. So.
Yeah.
Which
this
I think is a
whole,
little.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's totally fake news.
Which we'll get into.
The crisis, but
Mm-hmm.
another episode.
I don't think so.
There's a
I think it's
reason people complain all the time. You see all those dating forum things and the 5
Yeah.
Town Jewish Times, which is very popular, by the way. Hopefully we featured.
And the Jewish press.
Oh, that,
the
yeah,
Flatbush
yeah.
Jewish Journal.
Yeah, you
Jewish
see all
Home.
the chocolate.
Well,
I'm
like,
saying,
what would you do, that thing?
right?
I love that thing.
And for a girl to give out multiple yeses, I think it's, from what I've heard, that it just doesn't come as often, or they don't have as many resumes at hand as guys do. That's my point. They don't have as many resumes at hand. So if you can get something that you think is, at least, quasi okay to date, then maybe just take it, or
but then
not.
Go out all at the same time with I had a friend. Okay.
Yeah.
I had a friend. She went out with 3 guys at once.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
But
Good
the
for her.
reason,
Good for her.
no, oh my gosh, no. The reason
I'm pro it, man.
Why? Oh my gosh.
I want to set the stage up here. Okay, it's literally like we were saying before. Okay, and it could go for either way. Look, it could be for a guy or a girl. Maybe not so much when you're younger. That's I think for a guy who's younger, but in general, any time for a girl, any time for a guy. It could be a few months really till you find someone who you really like from the resume. You get a good read. You call it just looks good for you. Like this one looks good, and you say yes, and there's another shotgun calls who you've dealt with before and says, oh hey, Shlomi, who like you asked about 3 months ago, so he's actually available now.
Okay.
And you're thinking for a second, like, oh my God, like this Shlomi guy, I've got his resume 300 times over the past, and he's never available. He's finally available, and he said yes to me. But meanwhile, you gave a yes to Jaime, and you're like, okay, like, what do I do? It's a tough situation to be in.
I don't know if he's even
Jaime Garcia.
Yeah.
No, it's a tough situation to be in. So I would definitely encourage someone to give them both a try, see how it goes. I think at a certain age, you realize what works for you. You realize what doesn't work for you.
Do you not think that's going to take away from your one date? Like,
yeah,
it's not going to. Your mind is not going to be on that. Your full emotional capacity. For some of us, that's limited. Me in particular, but for other people, your full emotional capacity can't just be, concentrated on that one person. If you have another person on your plate on deck,
I absolutely agree.
When you're in the batter's box, you have to focus on the pitch.
I agree. I agree with that completely. Yeah. That you're right. It's you want to have your mind clear and make sure that you delegate the time. You have all your emotions towards the right person at that time. But it takes a lot to develop a relationship and all that. What happens if you say no to that guy? Number one, you go out with number two, and number two after you meet him and it's a DOA or it's a one and done.
Right. Then it comes.
Then you're
back.
like, oh man, I have to go back, and
that's the thing.
It's a whole thing.
But then
it's a whole
if
process.
It's supposed to be, it'll come back to you. I think.
Of course, if it's meant to be. I mean,
shouldn't.
We want to kind of talk more realistic of like what people actually kind of working through.
Fine,
because it does happen. It definitely does happen. I mean, like I said, I personally am in shidduchim, and I have not done that many times, but I've set up a lot of people where they were very honest. Like, oh yeah, well, like I'm finishing up something with someone else, but like let's give a yes and see what happens.
So it's
because
good that
people could get a sense of where a date is going. People can get a sense where the relationship is headed, and I've done it many times where like the first 3 or 4 dates were like and I'm like I just want to give one more shot before I really make up my mind.
Right.
And right before that happens, I end up going out with another girl and to try to give that a shot. Only because of those circumstances where it's not easy for me, because this one's not available, this one is available. It's like the moon, full moon every 30 days. Well, maybe even longer than that.
No, I only think like if you're actually like some people fly in, like let's say like you're going to Israel or something, fly, then that makes more sense because like you're only there for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's like you're very limited.
Yeah.
So then I would be like, okay, fine, something like that. But if you're like in your hometown and stuff, I'm not for it.
Okay, no, that's definitely something I can understand. Like if that person lives in the same hometown or anything like that, I would not encourage that because sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Look, one time I said yes. I said yes to 2 girls, and they ended up living like literally a block away from one another. And I was like crossing my fingers, like, oh my God, please not that. And then of course the other one got back to me, and it was
That's so bad. I had a friend that she went out with 2 guys, and she went out with one, and then like the day after she went with the other one, and the other guy was at the restaurant, like. They were both there at the same time. So stuff like that could happen. So you don't.
Another practical.
We have to make sure to avoid that.
Another practical issue, I think, Misty, is when you say yes to one person, they start looking into you, and then your references know that you have a date. that you were just went out with somebody, or that you just are in something, in between something.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll think like, this guy's two-timing. Like then your references start degrading who you are, and they start belittling you.
Right. I had that, like, a friend sent me. Yeah, I had a friend sent me up, and the guy sounded like amazing. Everything on paper was like great.
Yeah.
Like personality and like looks, he was like so cute and whatever. Yeah. And then
was he cute?
No, really. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is like so good. And I was looking into it, and then my other friend happened, like, she knows him, and she was like, D, I don't know if it's like a good idea. It turns out like this guy was going out with a lot of girls and like doing who knows what, and like so you find these things out. Like, I mean, you hope to find it out and not.
He was a mass serial dater.
He was a player.
He was a player.
Yo,
we call
what's
it player.
up? I
That's
love
a player?
players.
That's a player.
No, a player's a guy who can get it.
Not in the Orthodox world.
Why? What do you mean? He's
Players?
a player.
I don't know.
A player,
Dude,
yeah.
what
He's buying you
players
2
do we know?
seltzers at a lounge. That's a player. I mean, I don't know.
Oh my
It's a player.
That's not my interpretation of player.
It's ours. It's okay. Whatever.
that.
Well, you
that.
could lose. Look, you could definitely lose reverence for someone in that aspect, whether it's the your references or for sure. If you get a resume and when you see like, hey, this person I really think can work out, I would absolutely not recommend trying someone else.
No, that 100%.
It's those situations you're in where you're like, okay, I'll give it a shot. The shot can force me. My friend set me up.
Why do you do
whatever it might be? Like, you're kind of being
Right.
pushed into it. And being an older single, having that, and of course, it's remember that in the beginning, and I believe this was from who we list, Manus Freeman, who we've
Manus Freeman,
listened to.
future guest on our podcast, actually.
We hope so. And
He's so amazing.
I remember him saying, he's like, okay, so what? It's one date. You don't know each other. What'd you spend 20 minutes together? Would you spend an hour together?
Right.
Right. So you have to have that in mind, and that kind of clicked with me, saying, okay, so we went out. Are we indebted to another? We owe each other. Of course, there has to be respect and all that for the process, but
right.
you don't know what other things are going on like that. Especially, let's say a girl's getting older, like she's pushing 30s,
Right.
and she gets 2 great guys at once. Give it a try. I mean, there are some like real world kind of things.
Yeah. I mean, that's
So
a
that could
key
be
thing.
that could be a reason. Also, like, so going back to that friend that went out with like 3 guys at one time.
Yeah.
So her reasoning was because she just had like a bad breakup.
Yeah.
And like she was so eager to get over.
So she just wanted to
ex,
get
so she's like,
get off of that whole
yeah,
feeling.
let's just find the right one.
Yeah.
So like keep going out with like all these guys.
One thing that's happened to me in the past is the girls that I've gone out with. Listen out, ladies. The girls that I've gone out with, after they went out with me, they got engaged.
Wow.
All of
so are
them.
you
Yeah.
like a
I'm like,
good
yeah.
luck charm?
I'm like a good, well, in some way. So I guess the
Wow.
multiple.
You have the natural aptitude to just.
I'm
Wow,
the.
that's like a
they
skill
call
you
it the rebound.
Oh yeah.
So I was not the like
You're
they
the rebounder.
people rebounded
You're good
off
luck,
me.
Chuck. Good
People
luck,
rebounded
Chuck.
off me. They're like, after this guy, I gotta get engaged. Like that type of thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I've had
How
that
does
a
that
lot.
feel? That probably feels
Great.
great.
Well, there's no feelings here. So if there was,
So maybe we should go out because then, like, I'll get married.
yeah.
All right, you guys
Don't
roll that
tell-
way.
Yeah.
No.
If you want my mother to excommunicate me, let's do that.
I
Oh
don't
my-
think she would.
Do you know her?
Yeah. So, two timing, or dating one more than
Yeah.
Of course, it's a controversial topic, and that's why we're talking about it. That's why we want people to listen, to comment, to
Send us your
feedback. Instagram and all that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we want to hear what people's thoughts are.
Right.
And we're not, these are our opinions, but we're also talking about, like, hey, what you should, and like there are definitely some things you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
I would say that in that one case, it's definitely it's a predicament to be in general, like where you have to kind of get into that mentality of thinking about having to date more than one person at a time.
Yeah.
But of course, if you do see a lot of potential, don't. And then nextly, if you are going out for a while, let's say it's definitely well past 4 dates. Maybe you're on 10 dates already. Maybe you're going out for 6 weeks. Like, that's also not a time to just jump into something. You should you have to kind of really ask yourself and push yourself. Why not? There are many people I've set up and that have went out with someone, they weren't really feeling it. There were some other matches coming in, not from me, from other people,
Right.
and they would, just okay, I'm calling it off. Like let's just call it
Oh
off.
my gosh.
And then they would want to revisit at some point, saying, I had that other person in mind.
Didn't work out.
And girls do it too. Girls do it too. It's not just a guy's thing.
True.
And they're kind of thinking, let me give it another shot. So.
Right. So that does, yeah.
Do you think like shotgunning frown upon guys who go out with more than one person at a time?
Ooh, good question.
Like, what do they what do they feel? I feel like they do.
We should ask someone.
Because they put their they do put their thought and effort into each specific. Not all of them put their thought and effort into it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Let's
That's
get them
another
out of-
topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I've
true.
gotten some spam resumes, but like seriously, do you think they would care? Because I think that would be.
I don't know.
They would
Depends.
be hurt. Like the ones that I
Really?
dealt with
What
would
do
be
you
hurt.
mean?
Like if I said yes to one person from them, another person. Like again, back
Oh.
on the concentration issue.
Well,
Yeah.
That it's kind of it's deceiving.
There always
the
is
shotgun.
that area where
It hurts the trust.
To
trust.
There always is that response you can say, like, let's say you have been going out with someone and then you get another yes in, or you get all right now another girl or guy wants to go out with this person. You can always say, oh well, I just actually had a first date with someone else, But then how do you spin it? Either way, it's very uncomfortable, and I think Shadchanim just have to understand that it is not easy working with singles today. And it's not easy to do this job. And, like we discussed at some point, if it's a business for you as a mashadchan, it's a business. Treat it like a business, right?
Right.
You're going to lose both, you don't want to lose it. It's a client. So you have to be very respectful, things like that.
Yep.
If it's a personal thing, then you have to be willing to accept the consequences where that person might not want to work with you. And the same for the single as well. They might not ever okay, I'm not dealing with this person, They don't understand. They don't, things like that. And people are kind of, pushed into uncomfortable circumstances.
Shotgun could become like the mobster, like never go against the family type, like that. Like the Godfather over there.
Well,
but, some of them.
But so like Misty, what would you say? If that would have happened to you, what would you think about? Like, what would your first reaction be if you found out someone else is?
That's rude.
Oh yeah, that's
Bye.
tough.
There's nothing more you would say.
Oh, maybe a couple other words. No, I'm
You
kidding.
trash 'em.
That's funny because I would expect a girl to like be dating multiple people when they're going out with me. Like that, I'm the opposite spectrum.
Whoa,
Like I'm like, oh,
why?
hold on. I can't even imagine like that. Okay, your attention is solely focused on me. Are you nuts? Like,
Oh,
what do you-
oh my gosh.
You see?
Commitment
No.
problems.
Commitment problems.
No, just why not? Like I'm saying, I would say
I can't.
like,
I wasn't
bye.
born like that.
Oh my gosh.
I can't
like,
even
like that.
like I definitely wasn't born like that. What you just
I'll point.
said. Yeah.
I would just say no, like rude. Like I'm not not good enough.
But
I
what
guess.
if you liked it? If you liked this guy and you're like Gaga.
Well, if you liked
and it would
me,
just
you
end
wouldn't
it?
be dating two people at once.
Well, like we said, we have to define the terms of
Okay.
dating.
Yeah,
It's like,
whatever.
hey, he's been out 2 or 3 times with another girl.
Mm-hmm.
Just that you overlapped at the same time.
Right.
Obviously, if you're like, oh, hey, this guy's like dating someone for 5-6 weeks, like,
Right.
hey, so this guy's like gonna be getting engaged to someone. All right, that might be a problem now.
Just a tad. Just
Yeah.
a tad.
I get that.
Yeah.
But on the other end, I think it's
No, I'm not for it. Not for
Okay.
it.
wow. Okay, but
But girls
again, I would.
might disagree with me, so I'm just saying. Me personally, and a lot of my friends are not for it.
Okay,
Mhm.
no, it's good to know. I'll be more careful going forward.
Right. Yeah, you should because you're.
Because most guys, I give, I go to the, I go down to Izzy's in Brooklyn, and I'm like, yo,
Ooh,
I'm there with my
never been
guys. We're
there.
drinking beer, and we're like, yo, dude, just got my 3rd date this week, and everyone's high fiving me,
Oh
and
my
it's like, yeah, you're the
God.
man. And I
Cheers.
guess
You
You
women
guys
are
think
saying
you're
the
so
opposite.
cool.
Mhm.
Yo,
Sit it
dude.
down.
6 dates, 6 nights.
Guys are
girls.
weird. Guys are weird.
I
The
do
girls, we
not.
know
I
that
don't do
already.
that. I figure like these girls don't have like that much time to waste to like say yes. So
Mm-hmm.
like when they do, like it's just if they do say yes, they have free time. That's like the ones that
Wait,
say
what do you
yes.
mean if they have free time?
Like they're just willing to use
Free
their time.
timers,
Yeah,
free
like they just
timers.
need to waste time, so they'll say yes.
Yeah, no, I've been
That's
there.
all. They need like
What?
a night. They need
What
a
does
night
that
out.
mean?
You need a night out. You're at home all week.
Right? Yeah, I've been
You
there.
know, it's getting
free,
stuffy.
free. It's called free timing. Well, we
So you
Free
use
timing.
people.
yeah, meaning you're sitting.
Okay.
You're sitting at home.
You
you're
need
like,
something to
I'm
do.
pretty bored.
Your Google Calendar's empty. You're like, okay, I need a date. I'll I'll give it a quick yes.
You just the next one who comes in, I'm saying yes, and then you look at the
That's
phone
so
and you go,
sad.
oh, okay, not that one, the next one, and then finally 3 later you go, okay, I'll just give it a shot.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's
Either
sad.
this or go watch Cats.
We're sorry that this is the first.
It could be,
Or play with your cats.
Yeah, or a dog.
Or go next door to your neighbor Morris cats. Or cat site. Gesundheit. I was trying to stretch that one.
No, that's sad. Don't use people. Don't use people.
Of course, we're not using people.
I think, hold on.
We are representing, hey, we know many people who were like, who did that and then met their bus shared. It was an unbelievable ending. Unbelievable, I tell you.
Unbelievable, yeah.
It's true. They had no expectation for it.
Oh.
And then, yeah.
Okay, good. So, I mean, overall, kind of in closing for this two-timing, I want to reiterate my points and beliefs, and I really do feel like there are a lot of people out there who would strongly agree with, when I say that definitely, if you really like the person and you're in a committed like that's not the time to two-time and do those things.
100%.
But in shidduchim, when guys and girls get resumes sent in and you're dealing with a lot of you're looking into the shidduch idea and there are so many things going on, you can get kind of lost in the process. Mm-hmm. And, you might have a few dates lined up with different people, right? Or two different girls, or if it's with a girl, 2 different guys. Mm-hmm. And look, it's not easy because as we get older, right, there are less out there for girls, and girls will be for the first to say this, that there are less guys out there. And of course I'm going to give it a shot because what do you mean? It's just grabbing a coffee. It's nothing official. It's nothing like we're not committing to each other here and like carving it into the stone in the ground, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
IJ and Esty were here 2019. It's not what we're doing,
Right.
So I absolutely understand, and it's definitely something people do, but ultimately, you have to be careful at some point. And make sure you keep your names, but
that's true.
How about y'all in closing?
I'm not for
Misty,
it.
you're anti. You're very anti.
But again, like I said, if you're out of town, you're flying in, okay, fine. I make an exception. But other than that, no, not for it.
Okay, and Avery.
Yeah, I agree with Misty on this one.
Thank you.
2-time. I could barely 1 time.
Yeah, but you only agree with her because you're like, hey, who wants to deal with one more than one girl?
Who needs?
That's a lot. Who can even?
Who wants to deal with more than one guy? Excuse me.
I don't
know. You guys
are
either. A handful, also.
I do not deny that.
Yeah, that's true.
I got my Shabbos robe. I have my weekday robe. I have my night robe. You have to respect that, yo.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's good. Don't do the free time. It's good to waste some free time with them.
Oh, that I don't agree either. Like, okay, yeah.
That's about it. Let's see.
That's great.
Let's see.
That was deep.
It is deep, but
deep.
I don't think about doing more than 2 because I could barely just
do one.
Yeah, if you could do one successfully, then like get back to me.
Right.
1 date is tough enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Just getting like a good date out and getting like what you need out of that date.
Right.
And then going on to a second date, like just to fathom that, it's just so dishonest to even do more than that with multiple people.
Yeah.
So after this podcast, I'm gonna give out like 3 yeses.
Nice.
So the next 3 girls I see.
Okay, great. Well, we appreciate everyone tuning in, and this has been another episode of the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast.
The LMNO Broadcast Network.